So today we're going to be doing another video talking about why I love a certain thing. And I honestly am enjoying doing these videos talking about, the kind of things that I'm really into. Because like I said again, I wanted to make these kind of videos so you guys get to know me a little bit better. And today's topic happens to center around horror movies. And the reason why I wanted to talk about horror movies is because it stuck with me most of my life. Like when we're talking about things that I can remember, like calling back all the way back to my childhood. And a lot of that has to do with my father, because my father is what introduced me to the genre. And it all started when I was a little kid and I used to go over his house like every time after school. He used to pick me up. He was decorating yard, like he was building his own monsters. He was like making the body out of wood. He was taking certain shoes and pants and shirts and stuff that he found at the store, and he was using like these fake heads, little mannequin heads, and he was putting masks on them to make them look realistic. Like my dad put a lot of time and effort into making these monsters so he can like put them on the ground, spread them out throughout the yard, so it just looks, really cool. It's like, walking down the street on Halloween, you look at that, you're like, oh shit, that looks like a really nice house. Plus, he used to decorate it with a whole bunch of decorations, like mainly, the kind of decorations that you see at the Halloween stores or a Walmart or a Target or wherever place that you normally see those kinds of things. He basically created it into like this big graveyard with a whole bunch of monsters, that creaky stairs that you see where you're like walking up the stairs and you hear the noise, and a whole bunch of spider webs and spiders. Even when my grandparents eventually had to take out their pool in the back, he just created that into a huge cemetery and used to just store everything in the basement and like one of the sheds in the back, because that was one of the things I always looked forward to throughout the year. One of the things that I do remember that he did is he used to have this Chucky doll, and he still does. You could probably see in the background I have a Chucky doll, but it's a little bit different. Back then, as a kid, you get like scared of things, like that. Like if you just see it like just planted on the floor, sitting there minding its own business, and you're just looking at it, you're like, oh my God, get that thing out of my face. Like, is it gonna pop out at me or something? But that's the kind of mindset you think as a kid. It's almost like you're going to sleep at night and you're like, hey dad, hey mom, is there like any monsters underneath my bed? Like, are they just gonna grab me and pull me underneath there? I always remember he used to tease me around like that. Chucky, I would have to say, getting into the horror movie part of this video, getting into like, what is, a couple of the horror movies that you first got into. Chucky was definitely one of them. And I absolutely love Chucky. I've seen all the movies. I've seen the TV show. That's a franchise I really do love. I honestly hope and pray that the actors and actresses from that movie, the person who voices Chucky, and also, the other iconic characters from that franchise comes around here, because it would be super awesome to meet them. And as you guys could see in my shirt, I have Friday the 13th. I was actually able to meet Kane Hodder, which was the person that did Jason as the movies were closing off, like when it came to, I believe, part 7, 8, 9, 10, and I was like super stoked to do that. I got his autograph, which is in the background of my room, as you guys could see probably on my autographs over there. I got a picture of him. And also Nightmare on Elm Street, another movie that I really love. It's definitely a movie that my mom really loves. She's also into horror as well. Like she likes sitting down and watching Halloween movies. When I get to that October season, the whole spooky season, that's another classic movie. So if I have to like sit down and name movies that I really do like, I would have to say Friday the 13th, Child's Play, Chucky. I would say Halloween. Absolutely love the Halloween movies. I've seen all of them when it came to the originals, and then also the new trilogy that recently came out. And I tried to get into Texas Chainsaw, couldn't really do it. I do like Sleepaway Camp. That I feel is like a really underrated movie. Love Scream, another work of Wes Craven, who also did Nightmare on Elm Street. Rest in peace his soul. Really gonna miss the guy. He's a legend in the business. I'm really into slashers. Like, always been into like those slasher movies where it's like you follow the guy around and he goes hunting down all these people throughout the movie, and then you got that final girl towards the end, and then they have that face off, and then the final girl ends up taking him down, and you think he's gone for good, but then in the next movie, you see him return. You're like, okay, I guess I couldn't take him down that time. Like, I just always loved slashers. I'm just really into slashers. I have those movies I can go back and rewatch anytime I want. Things like that I just really love about horror. Obviously, a big part of it was because of how I grew up with my father, how he introduced me to the genre. I had a bond there when it came to it. Growing up watching all these different kinds of movies, just sitting down around October, watching like a whole marathon of like all these Halloween movies that I really like. As I mentioned, the Scream movies and Friday the 13th and Chucky movies and Nightmare on Elm Street, etc., so on. Even like one of the classic movies that I saw, I believe maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I didn't really see it at first. I knew about it, but I didn't really see it right away, which was The Exorcist. You know, going back all the way then when that movie came out, seeing like how things evolved. The early 1900s, we had the classics like Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein and The Wolfman. You know, just seeing how things evolved from there all the way up until we're at right now is what I really love. Again, you know, this is definitely probably going to be something I'll talk about on the channel every so often when I get the chance to talk about it. Like if something pops up, you know, I'll make a video about it and I'll discuss it. I'm honestly really curious to see if there's like any horror fans that happen to stumble across this video. Like is there any people that are fans of horror movies? You know, let me know your favorite horror movies in the comments. I would definitely love to see if we could build a little connection there, see if there's like any movies that you guys might have in common with me, or if you guys are like really into those slasher movies. That's honestly what I have to really say for this video. Again, you know, another video just giving you guys, you know, my thoughts on how I feel about a certain topic that I discussed, and today's topic was horror movies. So I'm curious, as I mentioned before, what sort of things that you guys are into, like when it comes to certain horror movies, what sort of memory that you had back then, you know, growing up, or maybe recent memory that you guys want to share. Make sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's honestly what I have to really say for this video. So I hope all you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever you guys are. If it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening, make sure to follow all my social media in the description below so you guys can keep up to date with me when I'm not posting videos on the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.